How's it going, everyone? It's Avi from Weather Sponge about 1000, and today we're of course going to focus on this extreme severe weather threat that's expected to bring large hail, damaging winds, and significant tornadoes over a large area of the Southeast. But before I begin, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather-related content. Make sure to like if you like this video, and make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather-related content. So let's begin by taking a look at the current radar for the Southeast at this time, and of course we are seeing extremely heavy rain going on right around northern Georgia, extending through Alabama and into the southern portion of Mississippi and Louisiana. And we're even seeing sort of a squall line develop of severe weather right just to the north of the Mobile, Alabama area. So it's right around 12 p.m. Central Time, right around Mobile, Alabama. So make sure to pay close attention that a severe thunderstorm will be right at your doorstep, at least at the time of recording of this video. So make sure to be prepared for damaging winds and large hail associated with some of these thunderstorms. However, just to the north of it, these thunder showers you see aren't necessarily considered severe. I'd say more likely the bigger threat associated with this will be the heavy rain threat. We of course have flash flood warnings issued along with these thunder showers developing through the Southeast, as of course when we have so much rain falling at a quick rate like this, then it's bound to create a major flash flooding threat. So make sure to keep that in mind throughout the Southeast, and this is expected to continue all day today as this trough will move further eastward at a low amplitude trough, and eventually it will move out to sea. But we do have another wave of thunder showers that are going to move through the Southeast into the Wednesday time frame, so that's definitely something to keep in mind as well. So if I were to show you guys the current temperatures, you see that if we were to take a look at the Southeast, you see that I wouldn't say the amount of instability in the atmosphere is necessarily extremely high. However, there is at least still a noticeable amount of instability right now, and of course it's still very early in the day, so we typically don't see that much unstable air this early in the day when the air is still relatively stable. We still need more insulation from the sun before we really get an enhanced risk of instability throughout the Southeast. However, we still do see at least just enough instability to where we're seeing thunderstorms occur right around the Southeast, because you see that right around Jacksonville, it's in the low 80s, but if you only go several, maybe 100 miles to the north, it already drops down to 50. So there is enough instability for severe weather to occur today, where again, I think the biggest threat will be damaging winds associated with these storms, but also large hail and significant tornadoes are possible associated with these thunderstorms. So make sure to keep that in mind. If I were to show you guys the current warnings issued, you see that severe thunderstorm warnings are issued associated with some of these thunderstorms, so make sure to keep that in mind headed into this morning and into the early afternoon hours. And I expect these severe thunderstorms to move further eastward as this trough moves further eastward. We even see some tornadoes warnings issued associated with some of these thunderstorms, so it's definitely something to keep in mind that significant thunderstorms are definitely a concern. And of course flash flood warnings are issued as well, and flood watches. So if I were to show you guys the Futurecast radar to really show you guys when you should expect these thunderstorms to move through your area. So if I were to continue to move forward, you see that by 4 p.m. we should see thunderstorms move further southeastward into the southern portion of Georgia, and we do see some thunderstorms right around South Carolina. However, I don't expect the thunderstorms, at least just north of maybe Atlanta, to be very frequent, at least severe thunderstorms, because there isn't enough warm air, and dew points aren't necessarily high enough for a strong enough updraft to occur this far up north for frequent for thunderstorms to be as frequent this far north. But there's still definitely that possibility of thunderstorms in South Carolina and the extreme southern portion of North Carolina, so don't rule out the chance of a severe thunderstorm in those areas. If I were to continue to move forward into 7 a.m., you see that we sort of see another small squall line form just on the backside of this initial squall line that's bringing thunderstorms throughout Alabama at this time. So there is still a possibility you could get another round of severe weather throughout Mississippi Mississippi and Alabama later during the afternoon hours. So you want to make sure to keep that in mind. And the squall line should move, I'd say, just off the coast of South Carolina by right around the evening time frame, right around 7 to 8 p.m. April 5th to today, pretty much. So make sure to keep that in mind, and we should see the thunderstorms continue for southern Georgia into the evening hours as well. And I wouldn't say the thunderstorms really get off the coast until I'd say midnight tonight. So it's going to be a pretty long duration of severe weather for some of you guys, especially I'd say anywhere south of Birmingham, Alabama. So make sure to pay close attention to that. And then moving on to Wednesday, we do have another wave associated with this trough that's bringing some snow further northward. And of course, when we're seeing a strong northwesterly flow associated with this low this far northward, it's bound to create another wave of severe weather. As you see, we begin to see severe thunderstorms develop right around the afternoon time frame on Wednesday, and it should be more frequent right around Georgia and areas further eastward, but we will see thunderstorms in Alabama and Tennessee as well. So make sure to pay close attention to that and be prepared for the risk of tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds. So if I were to continue to move forward, let's take a look at the GFS model. I want to show you guys the how the mid-level and upper-level winds are looking like. You see that the wind shear isn't necessarily extremely strong. While we do see a change in wind direction with height, it isn't necessarily such a stark difference when it comes to wind direction, because you see along surface winds are primarily coming from the southwest, while in the upper levels of the atmosphere it's coming from primarily from the west. So while there is a change in wind direction, it isn't necessarily a strong change in wind direction. So I don't expect this to be necessarily a major tornado outbreak, but the risk is still there. It still exists. So you want to make sure to keep that in mind. And again, associated with these thunderstorms, you do have just a large area of thunderstorm activity. Heavy rain will be the issue. If I were to show you guys the convective available potential energy, however, you see that it's going to be very strong, and that should definitely lead to large hail and damaging winds as a pretty major concern with this storm. So if I were to show you guys, you see that headed into Wednesday, which is tomorrow, you see convective available potential energy levels peak over 2,000, and what that does is that it makes the surface air pressure very low, and that's bound to create a damaging wind threat, because of course a lot of air molecules are going to want to filter into where the air pressure is extremely low thanks to this convective available potential energy. And when we see energy levels this high, it's just asking for a major damaging wind threat. And of course, since the convective available potential energy levels are so high, so are the updrafts, so large hail will be the issue as well. So make sure to keep that in mind associated with some of these thunderstorms that especially tomorrow, where I think damaging winds and large hail could be a major issue throughout the Southeast. So if I were to continue to move forward, you see that this first trough will eventually move out to sea, but this second trough will bring another wave of thunderstorms tomorrow. So that's something to keep in mind, along with a pretty significant jet stream dip. So temperatures should cool down throughout the eastern half of the United States, and we could see our next severe weather threat by next week, so we need to make sure to keep that in mind as well. Now, let me show you guys the rainfall forecast associated with these thunderstorms. Of course, since the area of thunderstorms is going to be quite large, heavy rain is certainly a concern, and the heaviest rain should peak right around the northern portion of Florida, right along the Florida Panhandle, where you could receive 3 to 5 inches of rain. This extends southern Georgia as well over the next 5 days. So flooding could be the issue, especially flash flooding, because that rain will fall at a very quick rate. So you want to make sure to pay close attention to flash flooding. If you live near a small creek, you want to make sure you're prepared in a scenario in case of flash flood in those areas. And in terms of where the worst of severe weather should be during each day, for today, the worst of severe weather should focus more in on southern Georgia, the southeastern portion of Alabama, and the northern portion of the Florida Panhandle, and extending along the coast of South Carolina. This is an area where the severe weather should be the worst, and the instability should be high enough for a major severe weather threat to occur. Headed into day 2, you see the severe weather threat shifts further northwestward, where we do see see the worst of severe weather occur in northern Georgia, northern Alabama, Tennessee, and the extreme southwestern portion of North Carolina. So make sure to keep that in mind. And we still have a slight risk further southward. So so you need to be aware of the possibility of damaging winds and large hail. If I were to show you guys actually the chance of damaging winds for Wednesday, you see that there's a pretty high chance of damaging winds. Hail should be the risk of hail should be minimal, but the damaging wind threat will be the biggest threat, at least for Wednesday. If we were to take a look at the risk for Tuesday, you see that tornadoes are still marginally possible for the southeast, extending through Georgia and South Carolina. Wind will be by far the biggest, most prevalent issue, and we do still have a pretty high risk of hail for today. So make sure to pay close attention to that in the southeast. Now let me show you guys my forecast of where you should expect the worst severe weather. Of course, if you're in the red, this is where major severe weather should occur. Large hail, damaging winds, and significant tornadoes could be possible for today. The tornado and hail threat does subside into Wednesday, but still something to keep in mind with damaging winds and more. So make sure to keep that in mind throughout the southeast. Moderate severe weather just to the north of that, and minimal severe weather just to the south of it. Has the instability won't necessarily be as strong in those areas. So make sure to prepare for a major severe weather threat. But yeah, guys, I guess that's it for this video. I thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather-related content. Make sure to like if you like this video, and make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see more weather-related content. And make sure to share this video with friends and family just to help them prepare and such. But thank you guys for watching.